All right, folks, let's get into some news and information that you can use. We're getting into the evening hours here in the Brownstone. Let's talk about the degrees losing their professional status. You heard what I said. I said the degrees that are losing their professional status. Now, I told you about 2 weeks ago that the Department of Education was preparing to redraw the map for who gets full federal borrowing access under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Remember that? That everybody was so excited about because you thought you were going to get all of these big tax cuts and stuff, right? So we reported in detail that new federal caps would split graduate borrowers into two groups. Got graduate students, 20,500 per year or $100,000 lifetime. Professional students, that would be 50,000 per year or $200,000 lifetime. And I told you then that the real fight would come down to one definition. What counts as a professional degree? And the reason why that's important is because they get to determine if you're going to get this amount or this amount. Did you catch that? Well, the draft regulatory text is out, and now we can see in black and white which fields the Department of Education is elevating and which ones it is quietly pushing out of the professional category. And the exclusions, they're massive. So come on, sit down. Go and get you something to drink. You got anything to drink? You might as well go on ahead and get it now because, baby, listen. Directly from the draft regulatory text, a professional degree is a degree that signifies both completion of the academic requirements for beginning the practice in a given profession and a level of professional skill beyond that normally required for a bachelor's degree. That would be people like myself with MBAs or PhDs. A professional degree is generally at the doctorate level and requires at least 6 academic years of post secondary educational coursework, including at least 2 years beyond the bachelor's level. Generally requiring professional licensure and includes a 4-digit CIP code in the same intermediate group as the fields listed in paragraph 2-I. And what is paragraph 2-I, you ask? Don't worry about it. I got you. Here you go. Here's a short list. You ready? These are the only degrees the department lists as professional under the new definition: medicine, MD; osteopathic medicine, DO; dentistry, DDS and DMD; pharmacy, PharmD; veterinary medicine, DVM; optometry, OD; podiatry, DPM, DP, PODD; chiropractic, DC, DCM; law, JD; theology, MDIV, MHL; clinical psychology appears in some drafts like PSYD, and that's it. That's the whole list. Okay, now that's not what people expected, I'm sure, because that's not what I expected. Because guess whose degree is not up there? Mine and others. These fields that I'm getting ready to tell you right now are not on the considered professional status list. Ready? Nursing. I'm sorry, what? Social work, public health, physician assistant. Yeah, occupational therapy, physical therapy, audiology, speech language pathology, counseling, clinical mental health, marriage and family therapy. Yes, all of these are missing from the education department's list now. STEM and professional graduate programs. Oh, that would be me right here. Engineering masters, business masters, architecture, education masters and teaching degrees, urban planning and public policy, leadership, administration, public affairs, library science, data science, informatics, most allied health professions. That's where I fall in. And not just me, other people. These are not oversights, y'all. These are structural exclusions to keep you from the coins that you need to go forward in your educational process for your degrees. So whether the educational department calls your program professional determines whether you can borrow, like I said before, 200,000 or only 100,000. Even if your career requires a graduate degree, a license, and years of training. So in other words, a theology degree qualifies for higher federal borrowing caps. A nursing doctorate does not. I'm not saying one is better than the other. All I'm saying is I would prefer that a nurse who is going after her doctorate have access to those resources so she can do her job better than she currently can now with additional training and education. A chiropractic student qualifies, a physical therapist does not. They kind of fall under the same. A law student gets the higher limit, a social worker does not. Can y'all please make this make sense? These decisions have real consequences, y'all, for career pathways. Did you hear what I said? For career pathways, earning potential. That's another thing. And who gets to enter or remain in service-based professions. And here's something else I need you all to pay attention to. Out of that list that I read to you that is now considered non-professional, how many of those current opportunities that are available now are held by women? The educational department's stated logic is embedded in the rulemaking record. It is professional degrees should be doctoral and require 6 years of total post-secondary study. Mine took 2 years. It didn't take 6. The degree should lead directly to a state-mandated license. The program must share the same CIP code grouping as medicine, law, dentistry, or theology. Oh, y'all, excuse me. This instantly pushes out dozens of fields, including those primarily staffed by women, Black or brown students, and first-generation professionals. So professional organizations and associations are already sounding the alarm. Nursing programs excluded, public health excluded, social work excluded. I sound like a rapper now, right? Just back and forth. Higher education groups warn the rule could shut students out of entire fields unless they take on expensive private loans. Hold on. Let's talk about that. So here's where I'm confused and where you should be furious. Are you confused? Are you furious? You should be. Because when we sit back and we think about the massive reclassification of professional degrees, shrinking the list and leaving whole sectors behind, that's talking about the people who have direct access to what's needed in the communities that are misproportionately or disproportionately or unproportionately, whichever the proportions y'all want to say right now, whichever one of those, when you're looking at the totality of all of this, what you're looking at are entire groups of people that are being shut out of getting additional monies for education, unless, of course, they do what? Get private loans, which is what they would prefer. Because with private loans, as I've said before, guess what? Their interest rates are astro-fucking-nomical. A reshaping of who gets access to advanced education and who gets priced out is also on the table, isn't it? Because now, if this goes through, you can only borrow so much. But some doctoral programs, some professional programs, like the ones that you're talking about, literally have cost the hundreds of thousands in order for you to complete. Mine was over $150,000 to complete. That does not include my MBA, my bachelor's, or my associate's degree. That is just the doctoral program. And I'm not the only one. So let's talk about that, shall we? Here's what needs to happen. These changes are affecting teachers, nurses, social workers, educators, public health workers, therapists, and the very people who are as I said before, holding those communities together. And guess what? I'm going to keep doing. Every time I find out something, I'm going to come and open my doggone mouth and talk about it. How about that? Yes, I'm hot as fish grease right now. I am angry. How dare you take what I have done and others and reclassify it so you don't have to give folks the money that they need to move forward in this country and to help those people in those communities that matter the most, the communities we live in our neighborhoods. All right, folks, that's all I have for now. Listen, for more news and information that you can always use, head over to brownstoneworldwide.com, Cityscape Radio, and you guessed it, Brownstone Living Magazine. We'll see you around.